From Indiana's news leader, John Stair, Andrea Moorhead, Chris Wright, Skytrack Forecast, and sports with Dave Calabro. This is Channel 13 Eyewitness News Nightbeat.
Well, now we're going to take you to a place its owners did not want our TV cameras or our reporters.
13 Investigates has discovered what some people claim is a puppy pipeline right here in Indiana. Tonight, investigative reporter Bob Siegel takes you undercover.
Look at him.
They are cute, cuddly companions, just waiting for a new family. But exactly where do these pet store puppies come from? Well, you can always try asking.
That's the breeder and that's the mom and dad.
They're just really from everywhere. Really.
But what you will not hear any salesman talk about is this. It's Indiana's puppy pipeline. Few people have ever seen it, and some people,
and I want you to turn that camera off, okay?
Try very hard.
He just pulled us over.
To keep it that way. Why don't you want us back there to see the dogs?
Yes, you are. You're a good baby.
To better understand what I'm talking about, I want you to see some puppies that are not part of the pipeline.
Yes, you're gonna yawn again.
From the time they're born until they're big enough to play in the backyard, these puppies and their mother are pampered around the clock.
We normally have 1 or 2 litters a year.
Richard and Linda Isley have raised miniature schnauzers for 20 years. Their dogs and puppies sleep in a warm bedroom. They have plenty of room to run and play, and they all get lots of human attention.
You can't keep from loving a puppy.
But you won't find one of their precious pups in a pet store.
We want control over where our puppies go, and that's not to a pet shop.
So if breeders like the Isleys are not selling to pet stores, then who is? 13 Investigates discovered the answer here. In Davies County, this quiet Amish farming community 2 hours southwest of Indianapolis is also the puppy breeding capital of Indiana. It's where you'll find cage after cage after cage filled with dogs. They will live their adult lives in those cages because their sole purpose is to breed puppies. Make no mistake, these are no backyard breeders. They are commercial breeding operations, and each year they supply local pet shops with thousands of puppies just like this one.
Come with me. I'm going to show you exactly where that Cocker Spaniel came from.
This breeding facility in the town of Odin has more than 70 dogs, including the parents of the Cocker Spaniel. Nearby breeders, they have as many as 200 dogs, and there are dozens of breeding farms in these Amish communities. From the breeding farms, puppies are loaded inside cages in this cargo van, and then they're delivered to pet stores hours away. Which pet stores is not a big concern to the breeders.
When they leave here, we don't have no idea where they're going.
That's because their puppies are controlled by a middleman or a broker. His name, Levi Graber, and he does not like strangers like me asking questions about the puppy pipeline.
And I want you to turn that camera off, okay?
When my cameraman and I explained we wanted to see some puppy farms, Graber called sheriff's deputies to have us arrested.
What the heck is going on?
When that didn't work, the puppy broker told us to get out of town.
He quit the road, and I mean do it immediately.
Clearly, he did not want 13 Investigates to show you the puppy pipeline that begins here and ends at area pet stores.
We're not ashamed of where we buy our puppies.
Joe Street is vice president of Uncle Bill's Pet Centers. The locally owned chain sells 2,500 puppies a year, and most of those come from the Amish and Levi Graber.
Without a doubt and unequivocally, I can state that they are the best quality puppies that we have been able to find.
Street says he has visited some of his Amish breeders, but he was curious to see our undercover video.
That's something that they have to correct.
He noticed the floors on some cages have wooden slats that may be too far apart, and he wasn't the only one who noticed that. Our video also concerned the Humane Society of Indianapolis.
It's an opportunity for their feet and their legs to get caught and injured in those spaces.
If them dogs are having any issues, then absolutely I'm going to tell him he's got to remedy that situation.
The breeding facilities we visited did not smell very good. This video shows lots of flies and piles of feces in and around some of the cages. But it's important to point out, All of the dogs we saw seemed to be well fed and in good health. And several of the facilities are USDA licensed, which means they've been federally inspected. Despite all that, pet store executives are still nervous for you to see this video.
People's perception of this isn't going to be good.
Why? Well, again, it's because commercially breeding dogs like this means many dogs spend their adult lives confined to a cage.
If your dog was kept in a run or kept in a cage day in and day out, didn't get out, wasn't socialized, wasn't allowed into a home, didn't get to interact with people on a regular basis, would you want your dog in those conditions? I mean, that's a commercial livestock condition.
It's a condition that pet shops do not advertise, especially because many customers assume pet store puppies are raised like this, not like that.
What do you think will be the impression of most people when they see this video?
Most people are going to think, well, that's terrible.
Why do you think some people would think that that's terrible?
They think, well, I wouldn't want to live in that kind of situation. I wouldn't want to be in a cage.
But he says dogs and people are different, and for dogs, living life in a cage is not a bad thing.
I don't have any problem with that at all. The reality is that dog's going to live its whole life contented with all of its needs met. You and I should be so lucky. I know that what we're doing is not only ethical, moral, it is the best way to raise these animals.
If it is the best way, well, few people get to see it. Pet stores, breeders, and brokers, none of them want 13 Investigates to show puppies moving along Indiana's puppy pipeline. That's why the pipeline has been such a well-kept secret. Despite that secret, there's a huge supply and lots of demand. And that means this puppy pipeline will keep on flowing. Levi Graber met with us last week, and he apologized for the way he treated us. The puppy broker said his breeders don't have anything to hide. They just don't like strangers around because it makes the puppies and the breeders nervous. Now, what you've seen so far is the puppy pipeline here in Indiana, but some pet stores rely on a pipeline that stretches much further. We're going to take you undercover again, hundreds of miles away, to show you something you've never seen before. It's the private world of dog auctions, where the highest bidder wins, but consumers and puppies sometimes lose. You'll see that when our undercover investigation continues tomorrow night at 11. I'm Bob Siegel, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
SkyTrack